Hey everybody, Mark Donica here at RTX 2018 with illustrious writer Eddy Rivas.
Illustrious.
Sure, let's go with that.
I don't even know what that means.
Me either. I saw it. It's my word a day calendar. So Eddy, you've been working since RVP season 10, right?
Yes.
So, have you worked on every animated show?
No. So I started with Rooster Teeth, kind of doing contract writing for them back with Red vs. Blue season 10.
Mm-hmm.
And since then I've kind of helped out with a few productions kind of here and there. I helped out with X-Ray and Vav.
Mm-hmm.
I helped out with Day 5 actually a little bit. And
Really?
And it's very, very, very early stages, like
Okay.
when it was like wildly different than it is now. So it may not have been that good of work. And
Well, did you
yeah.
see any of it? Did you see any sort of version of what you wrote make it to the show?
Yeah, a lot of the most similar thing. I'm not sure how much you know about the background of Day 5, but there have been some different iterations, and
Yeah.
kind of the closest to some of the original stuff was the episode that was kind of all about Joel's character
Mm-hmm.
in season 1. So there was like little bits here and there that were kind of holdovers from that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was probably like 2012 or something that I was working on all of that.
Wow.
But yeah, and so now I am at RT Animation, and I write on Nomad of Nowhere and Camp and other things.
I hope that comes across. But in between there, you had a little bit of a stint on The No as well.
Yes.
What was it like transitioning from news and copy to story? Even though you like, how was that transition?
Yeah, so like kind of the narrative writing has kind of always been my passion and stuff, but like kind of like right underneath that was writing about video games and things like that. And yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment. It's nice because I can take we still have a lot of deadlines, but I can take a little bit more time like focusing on what I do now, whereas at The No it was just kind of like cranking out like 3,000 words a day.
Wow.
And in the midst of that, I kind of got approached to like help with Nomad of Nowhere. And kind of from there, their relationship blossomed, and it turned into like, hey, you'd be a good fit to be over here all the time. So it's kind of how that works. So it's definitely been a transition, using more creative spaces in my brain, which is nice.
And speaking of Nomad of Nowhere, what's it like? Well, no, we already asked that question on the damn after show. Creating a new or writing for a new world, something that we haven't exactly seen, at least at Rooster Teeth. We know about the Samurai Jack inspiration, but is there anything from your life that you've put into Nomad?
I think, and this was something that a few people had kind of brought up, that were like a few of the artists and animators and stuff. They thought that like me having kids actually helped out with writing Nomad a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like it was several people that came up and they were like, just like the kind of charming, cute energy of the show. They were like, and I'm really glad that someone with kids is writing this, because like just being able to connect to that part of the brain, in a lot of ways, like I also do write it like I have 2 daughters, in a lot of ways I write it, a show for them. I mean, we don't, the show got dark and a little bit more violent, but it doesn't have any of the cursing. It doesn't have that cynical attitude that some Rooster Teeth productions have, which isn't bad. I mean, I love writing for Camp, but it's definitely got that cynical attitude. But yeah, actually I think like having kids and there's a lot of kind of childlike wonder in the Nomad, that I think is just kind of there, in like the way the Nomad views kind of the world around him, even though it's this bleak, like desolate, like awful place.
So we just get a gender confirmation of the Nomad, or just speaking generally?
Wait, what did I say?
Because you were just like the Nomad he.
Oh yeah. Just speaking generally.
Yeah, speaking generally.
Fine.
Whatever. Nothing breaking here. What was your favorite thing about what's the team attitude like on Nomad, like with the crew?
It's really interesting. Everyone, what I love about it, everyone has like such passion for the show. That sounds like a really cliche answer, but like everyone really, really, really loves working on Nomad. Just like, I mean, everyone loves working on Camp too, but like I think because Nomad was like a bigger undertaking, just the style of it. And we're going to be talking about this at the panel on Sunday, but there were like loads of animation tests that were done on Nomad kind of at different levels, that were done on previous productions and stuff. They're always doing animation tests to make sure they find like a style, but with a Nomad it was pretty clear like he had to be way more expressive than anything that they'd done before. And so I think like being a part of that development like really inspires the team. as far as I can tell, and just like everyone on the team just like loves the show, which has been like super cool to be a part of and see how excited everyone is.
It's seeing everybody on the team on social media just constantly refer to the Nomad as their son.
Yes,
I do the same, but there's just something about the Nomad that draws you to him, I totally lost where I was going. Okay, that's where I'm going. We're back. Hi, everybody. What would an AfterBuzz segment be without going off the rails? But and I know you can't talk too much about it, but with the writing this first season of Nomad, did you plan for it? Did you plan? So we're not talking about current state whatsoever. Was it planned to be a one and done, or was it planned to be a new series? Because X-Ray and Vav was only around for 2 seasons. That went out of production. Sex Swing was only around for 1 season, went out of production. And was there not currently, so hopefully you can answer it, was there a plan for 1 season or more?
Yeah, the plan, and I want to say Jordan has said this, so I think I'm okay. I want to say Jordan has said this in a previous interview, that the initial like kind of plan or like the vision that we saw for it was somewhere around the neighborhood of like 5 seasons.
Okay.
Would be kind of like the ultimate goal. Like if we can keep doing this, 5 seasons would be the number.
That's sweet.
So,
I mean, five seasons of our collective son.
I hope Jordan has said that. I want to say he has.
You can double check and we'll edit it out if he hasn't. But last thing about Nomad, if you could make a minion out of anything in your life, what would you make it?
Oh man, I've got a pair of I do like self-defense and martial arts and stuff, and I have a pair of boxing gloves, and I feel like it'd be really helpful if they like had a mind of their own. When I'm sparring and stuff, I feel like that'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
how about some boxing gloves that could do stuff without my hands? Would be generally helpful, I feel like.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's an interesting answer. I love that. So let's talk about the irreverency of Camp Camp. This season you wrote the Wood Scout episode.
Yes.
And did you write on any? Did you co-write on any or fully write any other ones?
Co-wrote the finale.
Okay. All right. Well. This is how.
So I can spoil any of it if you just want to like ask now. Like
here's how
it's out next week. It's fine.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I've been tiptoeing around stuff for the city episode because it's still first. I was better at wording questions a minute ago, but let's. What has been your favorite part in joining the team?
For me, like I've just always had I've always loved Camp Camp, and to like watch, I don't know, there's just this infectious quality. Like talking to Miles about anything is infectious because the guy just like exudes, like he like farts rainbows. He's just like so energetic and positive and happy, but like he has this really infectious quality just in general when he describes things, when he gets excited. But like watching him and Jordan riff like in character for Camp Camp is mind-blowing because they're just like so like tuned in to like the characters. They can sit there and like riff through, it can't be a scene that we can immediately put on paper because like we have to follow a story for an episode, but they'll have some like great gags just in character, and like watching them punch stuff up, like they know exactly who would say what, and like and Jordan especially will have like this little inflection that he'll add on something that'll be something that like my mind never would have gone to. And so it's I think watching the two of them work on that level with that deep of an understanding of every single character is probably my favorite part of working on the show.
That's super cool. I mean, we got to look at the behind the scenes with a little bit of the bloopers. It gives us a glimpse into what sort of stories we're missing from that experience. And is there any plan to release that reel, or was that an RTX thing?
Actually, I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm zero tied in with the merch of Camp Camp.
Okay, all right. Because it looked like a bonus feature.
Yeah,
like everything was, but at the same time, somebody could just be a perfectionist.
That would be great.
Yep. Oh God. For I mean, for a lot of things, but for Travis Willingham, just totally. Oh, fuck.
Just balls.
Man. What camper do you identify with the most? And not necessarily just from Camp Campbell, but
Oh man,
we're on Flower Scout territory. I don't care.
probably different levels of Jeremy, Nerf, and Neil.
What a
In different ways, like, because I like growing up, I was like the nerdy, like chunky kid that like was like so awkward and like I couldn't talk to anybody, and yeah, I see like shades in all three of those guys. All the time.
What a rogues gallery.
Well, that's why I'm all, like every time I write an episode, like Nerf is like my go-to, like insert, like poignant or funny or goofy
he's been
insert.
really on this season.
Oh yeah.
Him, Space Kid. There's usually a moment with the both of them in every episode.
Yeah.
They may not be involved in the general plot, but you'll be like, that thing that Nerf said, or the thing that that Space Kid said. And actually, for clarity, which Neil? Neil?
Yeah, Neil.
Okay. All right.
Girl Neil.
I relate to Neil, and Girl Neil. That's a solid 3. Do you just wondering where life will take?
Do you want to know how the finale ends? No.
I will.
We'll just go.
I'd like to know how the finale starts, because fucking hell. I've been mentioning this a lot this week. It looks like the way that the Camp Campbell story is sort of circling around when it comes to heightened drama. It reminds me of other series approaching Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that we go to another camp, we meet new characters, we do this, we do that, but how the fuck do I word this without it being a spoiler question? I
think I know where you're going with it.
Yeah. Once the ownership of the camp is sort of taken care of, and all of the finances are taken care of, then we're back to our interpersonal stories between campers. But ultimately, summer's got to end. And man, it's all spoilery. It's all spoilery, and I don't know, and I'm trying to tiptoe around the questions that I actually want to ask. So I guess I'll say this. When it comes to various structures of a camp episode, sometimes we're at a day, sometimes we're at the Flower Scouts camp. What is time progression like when it comes to each episode? Because there's only a certain amount of days in a summer.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Certain Miles and Jordan might have an idea in mind, but we've never talked about kind of in the writers' room of having a specific, like, they've been at camp like X like weeks long, like every season is X amount of weeks, every like, I just kind of view, like when I'm writing an episode, I just kind of view it as like a pinpoint, like a moment in time is kind of what we're doing. And like, summers feel kind of endless when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Like, even though they're like over before you know it, they still feel endless.
Especially when you're in a place that you don't want to be whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you're working on a lot of projects. What's coming up that you're the most excited for people to see between the season finale of Camp and the return of Nomad of Nowhere? Or something else, or if there's something that you may not be working at, like we heard about Motor Night last night, we heard about a lot of fresh stuff. But what is the thing that you are most excited for the people to see?
I want that. Like, I have 3 things that are all like right at the.
Let's flip and take it.
The camp finale. I'm like super excited about, because I'm really proud of the work that we did this season, and I feel like it's gonna land.
Mm-hmm.
Just some emotional beats that I think will land really well, and I'm really excited about that. And then just like the back half of Nomad, like I'm so stoked, because like people haven't seen anything yet, like, of the show. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we've barely scratched the surface, and pacing wise, the whole show is a slow burn, which is, to be honest, like, as a note that we got kind of early on was like, hey, this is kind of a slow burn. Are you guys okay with it? And we were like, yeah, like that's the goal, and we're gonna see what happens, and so it's I'm dying for everyone to see, because it's like all the meat and everything, and lore and all this stuff is like in the back half of the season, and without like getting too far into it and like too much into it, like our goal was to we didn't want to do this thing where we like propped up all these questions that like are going to be hanging around for like years and years and years and years. The idea was like pretty much every question we raise in the first episode is answered in this season.
That's great.
And like and if we get more seasons, then every new thing it's a problem that we set up and then deal with, you know,
Okay.
like, so I'm really excited. I feel like it's going to be really satisfying for people that love the show. And, I'm like frothing at the mouth for people to like see more of this series.
There's so much anticipation and a little bit of fear in your eyes that I'm picking up, because we've got live microphones and there's a total opportunity for anything to slip when we're keep recording after we're done. But I mean, we'll talk later about it. But yeah, Nomad is so infectious, and even just the little teaser that we saw at the animation panel, and Sunday we're going to be seeing the Nomad panel proper, but even just the little getting back into the world, hearing the music and everything was just like, I feel better. Like it just brings everybody back up. What was the third thing?
The third thing, I'm going to have to be very vague and general about this. Just the third thing, just upcoming things. Gray mentioned this at the animation panel that we have 3 projects that got greenlit that are coming up soon, and I am very excited about all of them. So,
all of them?
Yes.
Can you say any announcement, any involvement in them?
I
or?
cannot talk about anything related to anything, but I am very excited about all 3 projects. They're all very cool, and that's all I will say.
I mean, the hype is real. Eddie, thanks for coming on the after show. Thanks for being a supporter of the after show.
Yeah, for sure. I tune in just about every week as long as I can. Like if I am at home, I am watching the after show, and I love it. And so much of the team loves the after show, which I'm sure you guys have seen.
Yeah, I mean it's one of my favorite moments. After the Camp panel, I ran into Sonny, Al McClelland, storyboard artist, and I was like, Al, hey, and he's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. The first thing, not even like, oh, this, that, the other thing, goes, Nerf isn't 30. I don't know what. So yeah, it's fun.
I try not to shoot down fan theories in general. I'm just kind of like, you know what?
But that one's terrible.
You know what?
It's awful.
Nerf can be 30. Why not? You know, he's not 30.
The thing that messed with me was like, all right, the Nerf's been really solid. Time to let the joke die. And then he said, I'm a large kid for my age. And I went, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I brought the corkboard back out, reconnected all the lines. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun to have that open dialogue. It's very reminiscent of earlier days of Rooster Teeth, where it was 7 guys and people just, I'm actually talking to Gus and this and that. So it's maintaining and keeping alive that community aspect. And it's a pleasure to know you and a pleasure to know the team. And we're excited to see what happens in everything you're working on moving forward. But, oh, God, don't hurt our son. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Eddy Rivas. I'm Mark Donica. We'll see you soon. We're still here at RTX 2018.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.